Hey, what's up? Stephanie, the English coach here from EnglishFulltime.com. In this video, we're going to talk about the idea of getting fluent in 3 months, whether this is possible or not and why. Because I'm sure you've seen videos all over YouTube of people claiming that they got fluent in a foreign language in just 3 months. And there are courses out there that you've seen that are claiming, hey, all you need to do is take this course and you'll get fluent in just 3 months. So we're going to talk about this idea. But before we get started, I just want to thank Lingoda for sponsoring this video. For those of you who don't know, Lingoda is an online language school where you can study English, business English, German, French, and Spanish. Okay, so quickly, I want to show you guys the Lingoda website and tell you about a really cool learning challenge that they have coming up. So, as I said, Lingoda is an online language school where you can learn and study different languages starting from beginner all the way up to advanced. You can take classes with qualified teachers who are native speakers, and I've actually tested out these classes. They're really cool. But anyways, as I said, I want to tell you about this learning challenge that they have coming up. I don't know if you've heard about this, but it's called the Lingoda Language Learning Marathon. The full marathon is where you take one class a day for 3 months. Now, imagine doing that. Imagine taking one English class every single day for 3 months. You're going to make huge improvements in your English. And the half marathon is where you commit to taking 15 classes a month for 3 months. If you want to join, you have to sign up before May 13th, and the marathon starts on May 27th. Now, the best part about this marathon is that Lingoda has created a crazy incentive to get you to complete your classes. If you show up to class and if you participate in all 30 classes every month for 3 months, they will give you all of your money back. And with the half marathon, you will be eligible for a 50% refund. Definitely don't do this marathon just because you can get your money back. I think that is a wonderful incentive, but truly the reason to do this is because you can make huge improvements in 3 months when you're taking regular classes and participating. I'm going to go ahead and put more information in the description, and I'm going to put a link to their website where you can read all about the marathon, check out testimonials from other students, and figure out if this is something that you want to do. There is a small entry fee to this marathon, but if you use my code SPEAK35, then you'll get this entry fee totally waived and you won't have to pay it. So that's it. Definitely check this out. I think you're really going to like it. So I'm really excited about this language marathon because I signed up to do the full marathon for French. Learning French has always been a dream of mine, and I couldn't think of a better time to do it than right now, right? If I keep putting it off, I'm never going to do it. So I signed up for the French classes in the Lingoda Marathon, and I invite you to join me in this marathon if you want to make a jump in your English. Okay, so let's get back to the video and talk about this idea of getting fluent in 3 months. First, I just want to say that I've already made an entire video about getting fluent and how to tell if you're fluent or not and what you still need to work on. I'll go ahead and link that here. But basically, the idea is you know you're fluent in a language when you can use that language intuitively, when you have it inside of you, when you understand when something's right and wrong just because it feels like it's right or it feels like it's wrong, when you don't have to think about what you're going to say before you say it, you just open your mouth and you're able to speak and share your ideas. When you can use a language intuitively, the way you use your native language, that's when you are fluent. And a lot of people don't classify fluency that way. They actually think that being conversational in a language means you're fluent, but that's just not how it is, because in the real world, being conversational is not enough. If you are going to move to the United States and work as a professional in a company with a bunch of English speakers, being conversational in English is not enough. You need to be fluent. You need to be able to use this language intuitively the way you use your native language. So that's what fluency is. Now, is it possible for someone to get fluent in 3 months? Yes, but under certain circumstances. First of all, it is impossible to go from 0 to fluency in just 3 months. If you've had no prior exposure to a language and you expect to go from, again, 0 to fluent in 3 months, that's completely unrealistic. It does not work like that. However, if you have a solid foundation in a language, if you've been absorbing a language passively for many years, yes, you can make the jump to fluency relatively easily. easily. Everyone here watching this video who understands what I'm saying but doesn't really feel fluent, likely the one thing you're missing is regular conversations with native English speakers. If you have that in 3 months, you will become fluent or very close to fluent. For example, when I met my husband Ren in Argentina, he had a solid foundation in English. He studied it in high school. Granted, his classes weren't that good, but whatever, he still studied it. He listened to lots of English music growing up. He watched TV shows in English. He was constantly absorbing the language, but he never spoke it because he didn't really have a reason to use the language. He didn't have friends who spoke English or anything like that. Then he met me, and he really liked me from the beginning, and I liked him, so we were both very inspired to communicate. I wanted to communicate in Spanish because I was in Argentina and I went there to improve my Spanish, but he was very insistent with me and he's like, you can speak Spanish to everyone else around you. But with me, I want you to speak English because I want to improve my English. So first of all, he was very determined and he was very insistent and I was just kind of like, whatever, that's easier for me anyways. So we spoke English every single day. We didn't see each other every single day, but we talked on the phone, we sent messages to each other. He started using English every single day. So everything that he had in his passive vocabulary, everything that was in his, passive understanding of English, he was able to pull that out of his brain and use it consistently every single day. And I remember that in the beginning, his English was awful. Half the time, I did not even understand what he was trying to say, and his pronunciation was horrible. But in 3 months, I was astonished. I was like, I cannot believe how fluently he's speaking. He's putting his sentences together so well. I understand him perfectly. It was phenomenal. He made such a big transition in those first 3 months, and I would tell people he got fluent in 3 months. And it's true. But why and how? Why? Because he had a solid foundation to begin with. It's not like English was a totally foreign language to him. And how? Because he was speaking with a native speaker consistently every single day, and he was involved in a relationship that mattered to him. This is why I also get comments on this channel from people around the world who say, hey, I met someone online, a native English speaker, and I talk with them and chat with them every day. We're great friends, and it totally changed my life. It changed my English. It made me so confident. Okay, that is the key or one of the keys to fluency, having a relationship with someone who matters to you. It can be a friendship, a romantic relationship that will motivate you to use the language on a daily basis to communicate, and it will make the learning experience much more exciting, much more interesting. So with that said, if you are interested in meeting native English speakers and developing friendships and stuff like that, I'm going to go ahead and link a guide in the description that's from my website. It's a simple guide to practicing your English with native speakers, and I teach you there how to meet native English speakers and how to start conversations, build relationships, etc. so you can turn your passive learning into active learning and create really great relationships with people. So again, Ren was able to get fluent in English in 3 months because he had a solid foundation in the language. Now, I have a solid foundation in Portuguese. I took my first Portuguese class 6 years ago. I really enjoyed learning the language, and ever since, I have been passively absorbing the language. I follow Instagrammers who are from Brazil. I listen to music in Portuguese. Sometimes I read things in Portuguese. I watch TV series in Portuguese. I just passively absorb the language. So I know that if I went to Brazil and if I lived there for 3 months, having relationships with native speakers and using the language every day, I know that that would help me go from where I'm at now, where basically I don't really speak the language. I can if I have to, but I understand it a lot more and a lot better than I speak it. I would be able to go from that to fluent or very near fluent in just 3 months. That is actually very realistic because I have a solid foundation in the language, and also because Portuguese is so similar to Spanish and I'm already fluent in Spanish. However, if I decided to do the same thing, like let's say I went to Russia for 3 months or something like that and decided I'm going to immerse myself in the culture, I'm going to study the language, etc., I would not have the same level of improvements in Russian as I would in Portuguese because I don't have a solid foundation in Russian. I have not been absorbing it for years or studying it for years or anything like that. So the idea of me going from 0 to fluent in 3 months is totally unrealistic. Perhaps I could get conversational. So that said, it's impossible to go from 0 to fluent in just 3 months. So if it's impossible, why are people claiming that it is possible and that all you have to do is go to a foreign country, immerse yourself in the language, and then suddenly you're going to be fluent in 3 months? Or why do people claim that you can go from 0 to fluent in their fantastic language course or whatever that is? Okay, so there are explanations for this. One, in the videos that you see around YouTube where people are claiming they went from 0 to fluent in just 3 months, you don't know the full story. Perhaps they got fluent quickly in a language that they had already been studying or passively absorbing, or a language that's actually very similar to their native language. Or maybe they scripted their video, they practiced it a million times, then they recorded it, and then they edited it so that it looked like they were super fluent. Also, if you don't speak the language that they speak in the video, how do you know if they're really fluent? One time I saw a video like this of a guy saying, yeah, I got fluent in Spanish in just 3 months living in Mexico. And I watched his video. And if you don't speak Spanish, you might see his video and go, hey, wow, that's so cool. Look at him. He's speaking Spanish for 5 minutes straight. And it can easily fool you. But when I watched his video, since I do speak Spanish, I was like, yeah, he is speaking Spanish, but it's conversational Spanish. It doesn't sound like he's using the language intuitively, the way a native speaker would use the language. He was making lots of mistakes. His vocabulary was very simple, basic, and limited. His sentence patterns were very repetitive. Those things do not mean that you're fluent in a language. It means that you can maybe fool others into thinking you're fluent, but that's actually being conversational. Totally not the same thing as fluency. Now, the reason that you see companies, businesses, and people claiming that all you need to do is take their course and you can go from 0 to fluency in just 3 months or 6 months or something very, very short like that is because of marketing. They are exploiting the fact that you want to believe that. So they're telling you what you want to believe. You want to believe it's easy. You want to believe that it's not going to cost you anything. You want to believe that it's going to be quick and effortless. So they tell you that it's going to be easy. It won't cost you anything. It's going to be quick and it's going to be effortless because that is what is going to make them the sale. But as we already talked about in this video, we already know that it's impossible to go from 0 to fluency in just 3 months. We have a saying in English that goes like this: if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. And this is such a good rule of thumb. Anytime you hear something that sounds way too good to be true, it probably is. It's probably unrealistic, it probably isn't true, and it probably will not actually do what it claims to do. And also, we see this in every single industry, right? Transform your body in just 3 months. Learn how to play the guitar like a rock star in just 3 months. Build a profitable 6-figure business in just 3 months. When you see claims like that, there's always a catch. It's never as easy as it looks. Sorry, there are no magic solutions. We just have to remind ourselves of that so we don't get caught believing lies, because that can and will happen. I've actually gotten comments from people on my YouTube channel saying, I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been studying English for 1 year, for 2 years, and I'm still not fluent. They think something's wrong with them because they read about and hear about all these promises and claims of people achieving the same thing in a much shorter amount of time. The reality is it does not work like that, and it actually makes me kind of angry that people lie about this kind of stuff. It's not right. So think about this. It takes people 5 to 8 years to get fluent in their native language. So what makes us think that we should get fluent in just 3 months in a foreign language, even with a fully developed adult brain? It's just illogical and it does not make sense. So wherever you're at in your journey, just know that there's nothing wrong with you. Everyone's journey is a little bit different. Achieving fluency depends on so many different factors. It depends on your motivation, probably more than anything. It depends on your resources. It depends on relationships, like having people you can talk with who enjoy speaking with you. It depends on so many things. So don't give up, keep going. And again, if you want want to take your English to the next level, I gave you 2 really great options in this video. One, you can check out the Lingoda Language Learning Marathon and challenge yourself with that. And 2, you can download the free guide on my website to practicing your English with native English speakers and get started on that today. So that's it. That's what I have to say about getting fluent in 3 months. And I would love to hear your comments down below. What do you think about this idea? I don't know anyone who has ever achieved getting fluent in a foreign language in just 3 months without a foundation, right? Going from 0 to fluency. No, I've never seen anyone or heard of anyone doing that. But yes, if you do have a foundation, then I've definitely heard of people doing that. I even know someone who's done it, my husband. So it is possible, like I said, but under certain circumstances. Please keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts with us in the comments. I look forward to reading them, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.